Hello and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declares that Washington and Jerusalem will stand together to ensure that light triumphs over darkness and hope over despair in the face of the Islamic Republic of Iran and other radical Islamic organizations, including the Islamic State. The Palestinian Islamist Hamas organization, which controls the Gaza Strip, has recently developed a new and powerful short-range rocket that, according to Israeli defense officials, will pose a major challenge to the IDF in the event of a new armed conflict. Russian President Vladimir Putin meets with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani in Moscow, during which the two leaders discussed the strengthening of bilateral relations and further cooperation in the Syria conflict. In a televised address to the annual conference in Washington of the powerful pro-Israel Jewish lobby AIPAC, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared the U.S.-Israel alliance to be the strongest it has ever been, while stressing that together Washington and Jerusalem will stand to ensure that light triumphs over darkness and hope over despair in the face of the Islamic Republic of Iran and other radical Islamic organizations, including the Islamic State.
For the security of both Israel and the United States, we must ensure that the forces of militant Islam are defeated. We won't let them drag humanity away from the promise of a bright future to the misery of a dark past. I'm confident that the United States and Israel will stand together, shoulder to shoulder, to ensure that light triumphs over darkness and hope triumphs over despair. That means preventing Iran from ever developing nuclear weapons. That is our policy. It will always be our policy.
The Israeli leader also cited the opportunities that emerged because of Iran's regional aggression, in which Israel's Arab neighbors that view the Islamic Republic as a common enemy see Israel as a strong partner to face the dangerous challenge.
I believe that the common dangers faced by Israel and many of our Arab neighbors now offer a rare opportunity to build bridges towards a better future, a future more prosperous, more secure, more peaceful. And to achieve that future, Israel will stand ever vigilant, never compromising on our security, always ready to defend ourselves.
Prime Minister Netanyahu also took the opportunity to reiterate Israel's commitment to peace, as well as his commitment to work with the Trump administration to advance a political process that would bring about an end to the decades-old conflict. That said, to reignite the long-stalled negotiations, Netanyahu emphasized it was time for the Palestinian leadership to stop incitement and the support of terror, and to once and for all recognize the legitimacy of the Jewish state.
Israel's hand and my hand is extended to all our neighbors in peace. We teach peace to our children, and it's time the Palestinian Authority do the same. It must stop teaching hatred to its children. It must stop paying terrorists. It must stop denying our legitimacy and our history. It must, above all, once and for all, recognize the Jewish state.
Concern is greatly mounting in Jerusalem over what officials said was the surprising activism being displayed by the Trump administration on the Palestinian issue. Israeli officials assess that Trump himself is the driving force behind Washington's renewed energy toward the Middle East, and that he intends to present a proposal for an ultimate deal, a term President Trump used on several occasions for a peace agreement that would end the decades-old conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. Such a proposal is expected to be presented after President Trump will conclude the first round of talks and meetings he is holding with all potential partners to the process. In the next 2 weeks, Trump is scheduled to meet with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and then with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, after which Washington is expected to complete the formulation of Trump's presidential plan. Meanwhile, officials in Jerusalem are monitoring the fact that President Trump's envoy, Jason Greenblatt, is unprecedentedly taking part in the conference of the Arab League being held today in the Jordanian capital Amman. The summit aims, among other regional issues, to establish a common Arab front to reaffirm their united commitment to a Palestinian state. The fact that the Arab states are highly unlikely to bridge rifts over the regional role of Iran or the various conflicts raging in the Middle East between Arab nations, including in Syria and Yemen, the Palestinian delegation hopes that the core consensus of the entire Arab world pertaining to the Palestinians' aspirations would receive the most attention and would bring about a strong united Arab front.
It's very clear that, yes, there is a consensus among all Arabs that the Palestinian issue is the core issue of all the Arabs in terms of concern. It's being really reflected in the level and the quality of resolutions that have been really presented. And we are really hopeful that at the end of the discussion tomorrow, we could say that this summit is, the summit of the Palestinian issue.
Now to another matter, the Palestinian Islamist Hamas organization, which controls the Gaza Strip, has recently developed a new and powerful short-range rocket. According to a report by Israel's army radio, Hamas had succeeded in producing a few dozen rockets of this kind, capable of carrying a large quantity of explosives, which are liable to pose a major challenge to the IDF in the event of a new armed conflict between Israel and the Islamist organizations in Gaza. Security officials pointed out that Hamas has invested a great deal in developing short-range rockets because of the fact that Israel's Iron Dome anti-rocket defense system is probably incapable of intercepting such projectiles because they do not stay airborne long enough for the system to react. The report further reveals that the Iranian-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon has similar rockets in its possession, even more advanced in terms of the quantity of the explosives it can carry, as well as its accuracy, a fact that will force Israel to remove entire communities from the front lines should a war break out. Now to Moscow, where President Vladimir Putin welcomed to the Kremlin Iranian President Hassan Rouhani in a visit aimed at bolstering bilateral relations and further coordinating joint efforts in the Middle East, including their strong partnership in the Syria conflict. During their meeting, the two leaders signed several bilateral agreements in the sectors of energy and security, among others. Speaking at a joint press conference, President Vladimir Putin said that the two countries will continue to cooperate within the framework of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum and coordinate efforts in stabilizing the world's oil market. With regard to the conflict in Syria, President Putin stressed that Russia and Iran, together with Turkey, will advance future talks in Astana between the Syrian government and opposition in a multilateral effort to contribute to further progress of peaceful political settlement in the war-torn country.
Участие России и Ирана наряду с Турцией в качестве стран-гарантов на переговорах в Астане между представителями вооруженной оппозиции и сирийского правительства являются важным вкладом в дальнейшее продвижение мирного политического урегулирования в Сирии, содействуют межсирийским переговорам и соответствующему процессу под эгидой ООН в Женеве.
With UN-backed talks taking place in Geneva, scheduled until April 1st, Russia is holding meetings with both delegations of the government and opposition to hold the escalating situation on the ground. UN envoy for Syria, Staffan de Mistura, emphasized that the Russian brokered ceasefire was an imperative foundation that made talks on a political solution viable, while warning that if Moscow was unable to salvage the ceasefire, the political process would collapse. Thank you for watching us. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan of Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
In order to donate to TV7 Israel News, please follow these simple steps. First, press the Donate logo, located at the bottom left side of TV7 Israel News Facebook page, or on the Donate tab at the head of the page. Then insert the amount you'd like to donate, and fill in your credit card information. Just like this. And press Review Donation and continue. After reviewing your donation details, please press Donate to finalize your donation. That's it! Your donation is now complete, and an email with your donation details has been sent to your email address. You can also print your donation receipt by pressing the link here. Thank you for supporting TV7 Israel News.